Hello and welcome everyone to the HVAC Financial Freedom Podcast, a podcast where we focus on helping you to make more in your revenue, grow your profits, and achieve more freedom. And for today's guests, we will have two, and I'm very excited for them because they will help you to be able to accomplish all three of those objectives. And so let me give you a quick introduction before I welcome them into the room for the day. And so our guests, they not only have one, but they actually have six highly profitable businesses. And so they have the auto shop, which they owned and ran to a multi-million-dollar operation. They have Express Exterior Car Wash. They also have the seven-figure chiropractic business, NTC Health and Fitness. And they also have Texas Wine Posse, which Jerry describes as a hobby out of control. And so I'm excited because not only have they proven their success in one business, but they've seemed to develop a formula where no matter what industry, they're able to accomplish a wild, wild success. And so their most recent passion, which we'll be talking about at the end of the podcast, is a mentorship and mastermind group, which is called the Business Builders Mentor and Mastermind, which is a coaching and mentoring group teaching business owners how to own a business that gives true freedom. And one thing I was really excited about too is that they actually take off, I believe it's 4 to 5 months out of the year, just to explore, travel, and enjoy their lives. And so I think that's something that we all want to accomplish, something that I have not accomplished myself just yet. And so really excited to talk to them about their formulas and really how they achieve such great freedom in their life. And the two people we are introducing today to be on is going to be Jerry Kezhaya and Dr. Laura Shwaluk. And so bringing you guys on, welcome to the podcast, Jerry and Dr. Laura.
Thanks, John. Glad to be here.
It's a great day to learn how to grow your business.
Booyah. Yes, it is.
Let's hit it.
So we currently, just so you know, um, we are currently working an average of 2.5 days a week. The rest of the time, we are either traveling or we are hanging out at our ranch. So that's and currently we are operating five different companies. We've had 4 successful exits, and life is good. Life is really good.
That's amazing. And I guess to kick things off, I mean, you guys have so many different ventures, but what got you into entrepreneurship to start off with? Is it something you've always dreamed of as a kid, or how'd you enter the entrepreneurship field?
Ladies first.
Okay, very good. Thank you. When I was 10 years old, one of my sisters and I, we were galloping on the horses through the barnyard, which we had been told many, many times not to do. Don't gallop the horses through the barnyard. Well, okay, so the horses spooked, and my sister got bucked off and hit her head, and she just wasn't quite the same. And so it
There's a
was
joke there,
either
you know.
drive an hour to go to the medical doctor or drive an hour to go to the chiropractor. And my dad asked my grandmother, okay, so which way do I go? And she said, well, the chiropractor is the least invasive and it's going to be the least traumatic for her. Take her there first. If that doesn't work, then take her to the medical to have an MRI or whatever needs to be done. And so my dad took us and he said, well, if it's good for one girl, I might as well take them both. Not only did my sister fully recover within like 2 or 3 visits, I just remember that it was so fun being there. And I thought, man, so from a 10-year-old perspective, I get to help people with my hands. My hands go with me everywhere. I
Mm-hmm.
get to see my friends all day long. They come to visit me and I get paid for it. This is awesome. I'm going to have my own business. So that's how it started. And I had my practice for 20 years. When Jerry, he was turning 60 and he said, when I turn 60, I'm going to go travel and I would really love for you to come with me. But if you still have your practice, I will really miss you. And I was like, what? You're traveling without me? So I have since sold it. And then hence that's why we have 5 businesses now instead of 6. That's the
The
long story short.
instigator, Jerry's the instigator.
Yeah. Well, and it worked out perfectly because now as a hobby, I started trading options online. And truth be told, I earn almost as much in a half an hour, one day a week as I did
Wow.
in my practice. So, yeah, I love this retirement business. This is good. But I still help Jerry with all the payroll and the accounting and our business builder coaching and managing all of the employees that we have. So I'm still very busy. All right, Jerry, your turn.
How about you, Jerry?
Well, my story is completely different. So in 1946, my dad opened up the very first automatic transmission specialty shop in the city of Detroit. And I grew up in the business. I was literally groomed and trained to manage and operate a small business. I was running well, when I was 12, I was building race engines by hand. By the time I was 16, I was certified as a master tech through at the time it was called NICE, National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence. When I was 15 years old, I was running the business, including all of the payroll issues, sales tax, FUTA, SUTA, all the issues that you have to go through. And I knew when I was 12 what I was going to do with my life. I saw, if you walk into my current building where the business operates today, I saw that in my mind when I was 12. It took me a while to create it, but here we are. I've been in that building, and it's looked like it's looked for the last 30 years. I started this company in 1981. And, to give you an example, the average automotive repair shop does $350,000 a year. It doesn't matter whether it's in Maine or Miami, whether it's in Seattle or San Diego. That's the average. It's $350,000 a year. The average owner takes $25,000 as far as his paycheck. We broke $1 million in 1993 and have never looked back. We've been a multi-million-dollar shop ever since, and we just continue to grow because we have the basic principles of business. And this is why we got into multiple businesses, was to take what I call the recipe, right? This cookie cutter, this concept of running a business, and does it apply to other businesses? Does it apply to other industries? And I can tell you, after 7, 8, 9 different companies, right, plus all of the multiple people that we have coached over the last 9 years, yes, the answer is unequivocally yes. And a financial statement doesn't care whether you're working on cars, doing adjustments, whether you're doing SEO. It doesn't matter. A P&L is a P&L. And honestly, the language of business is accounting. Once you understand the numbers and you can apply that to whatever business you're running, then you can make every business you have successful.
That's beautiful. And I guess, well, the other thing I'm curious about is, when did your two stories intersect, right? Because Dr. Laura, like, you had this inspiration from when you were a child, and also you, Jerry, like, when did you both intersect to start working together in business?
Well, I went to the Chamber of Commerce and jumped out of a cake, and Laura was there.
Jumped out of the gate, right? We're
It
gonna have
was
to
a
double
big
click on
cake,
that one.
okay? It was a big cake.
That's so funny because often people ask us, "How did we meet? Where did you meet?" And we both kind of try to rush to the punchline of, "Well, I went to a party and he jumped out of a cake." And that would be fun. However, the truth of it is we met at a really kind of boring business interchange meeting, uh, see, 27 years ago now.
Yeah, business
And
networking.
we were friends before we started dating, and then he kept asking me over the years, "Hey, come and work with my business. Come and work with my business." And I said, "I have my own business. Why would I work with yours?" And then he got me with travel, and I'll tell you, a month
Mm.
in France staying in a castle can't be beat.
Yeah, we got to stay in a 15th century castle in Bordeaux. It
It had a
was
moat.
Yeah, we had a moat. We had our
It
own.
had its
We had
own
our own
mode.
swans.
That's so
It was
cool.
It
great.
was, yeah.
Oh, that's
We've had a
amazing.
lot of fun traveling.
Wow, that's amazing. So you met, you were friends first, then you're convinced to join the business, and then a lot of questions that
Well,
I get too
no,
is,
let me back up. We were friends, and Laura came up to me one day and said, "I understand you're really good with business." Well, how do you answer that without sounding like a real schmuck, right? And my answer was, what do you need, Doc? Again, we were friends. We'd been friends for almost 3
mm,
years at that time. And she said, "I need a business plan. Can you help me do a business plan?" And the answer is yes, of course. That's part of what we do. Um, I will tell, and at the time, when the planets align a certain way and God has a plan for you, I had just gotten separated, and she had just broken up with a relationship. And so
mm,
it was, I'm willing to help you as long as it does not interfere with my business
yep,
or my
Or
children
your children.
or my children.
mm-hmm,
And she was okay with those terms, and we started working on her business plan. And next thing you know, it's like, wow, you're a lot of fun. Oh, and you're a lot of fun. Oh, well, maybe we should have fun together. And so we ended up having a lot of fun together. And she continued to operate her business, and I helped her with her business. And I continued to operate my businesses, and she helped me with mine. And at one
mm,
point, she had an opportunity to sell because my age limit was rapidly approaching, and I said, "Hey, 60's coming. I'm just saying." And we had done all kinds of travel up to that point. We travel every year. For the last 13 years, we've traveled an average of 130 days every year. So
wow,
it's not something new. We have I have a travel wall with 8 by 10 photos on the wall here in our mastermind group of all the places that, well, out of 63,000 photos, I picked 55 of them and put them on the wall, so you get an idea that it's real. Some people talk about travel. We actually get to do it.
mm-hmm,
And so that's how we got into this. And then, ever since, well, for the last 5 years, we've really just spent, we spent almost 24 hours a day together every day.
mm.
So,
And we're both still alive.
Yeah, both you haven't killed each other.
Yeah.
no, she gave me some bad news today. She's going to her niece's graduation. It's like, but I'm going to miss you.
Oh,
She didn't care.
You wouldn't like it up there in northern Canada anyway.
It's too cold.
Promise.
too cold.
Yeah, too cold. Are you kidding? They have a 2-week
I'm
swim season, man.
I'm looking forward to going hiking.
And so I guess that then begs the question, because what you've both accomplished is something that most people have not accomplished. So how you mentioned this formula and that you're taking so much time off during the year. What are some of these principles that that you guys have discovered or continue to apply to the businesses that you work with? It's yeah. What's the secret sauce? Like, how are you doing that?
And I narrow it down to 5 steps. It's very simple. Hire good people, pay them what they're worth, let them do their job, stay out of their way, check in frequently.
Mm,
Those are your 5 steps. Now,
And by
how you
checking,
how you do all of that is where the magic is,
yeah.
mm,
right? How you make all that happen and maintain the congruency of your company, how you maintain the camaraderie of your team, that's where the magic is. The 5 steps, dude, you can YouTube that all day long. It's real simple.
mm-hmm,
Hire good people, easy to do, right? Pay them what they're worth, sure, write a check. Where's the
mm,
money come from? Oh, that's a whole different step. See, that's not part of the 5. But the
mm.
5 are simple.
Got it. And it sounds like it's centered around really good people. Um,
The people of your company are everything. Look, we wouldn't have the freedom we have. I wouldn't have the empire, the business empire that we've created if I didn't have great people. I mean, they are the key to everything. You must hire good people. The big mistake that most entrepreneurs make, John, is really simple. They go, "Oh, I'd really like to hire that person, but I can't afford them."
mm,
Well, I don't know which football team you like, and I'm not a big football fan, which will probably cost us fans here. But I'll just tell you, if Jerry Jones wants to take the Cowboys to the Super Bowl, he's not going to continue hiring high school football quarterbacks. He's going to hire
mm,
Tom Brady. He's going to hire, someone who's been to the Super Bowl at least, right? If you want to get to someplace, you've got to have someone in your corner that's been where you want to go. You can't keep trying to train them. The big mistake most entrepreneurs make is they go, okay, I'm a struggling small business owner and I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm going to get together with another struggling small business owner, and together we're going to have the synergy and we're going to figure stuff out.
mhm,
No, doesn't work that way. It really does. It cannot work that way. You have to have something more. You have to have the example, right? Someone's got to show you what's possible and how you get there. And you can't do that when you're both struggling, or five company owners get together. Here, we're going to have coffee once a week and we're going to talk about our trouble. All you're going to have is more troubles, bigger
mm,
troubles. How about if we talk about our successes? Let's get to that part.
mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's like the blind leading the blind. I've been a part of
Yeah.
lots of mastermind groups where there is no one who has accomplished the goal we're trying to accomplish, and now we're just, maybe it's to express like, hey, I have these problems and I feel heard, but to actually solve the problem, I think that's a completely different
It's a whole
situation.
different realm.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so one of the things that we talk about is, and I use the analogy of when I learned to drive, right? I think everybody here or everybody that's listening can actually appreciate when they learn to drive. So when you were 15 or 16 or 17 or whatever age it was, when you first got your driver's license and you're driving down the road, maybe a little too fast, and you got pulled over and you got your first ticket. That was a pretty catastrophic moment, wasn't it? It's like, oh my
Heart was
God.
racing, your palms
Oh
Oh,
got
my God.
sweaty, you might have cried, you might have
Parents
thought,
going
"Oh
to
my
kill
god, my
me.
parent my
parents are
parents
gonna
are gonna
kill
kill
me,
me,
right? I'm gonna lose my car, my insurance is going up.
my
You
privileges."
had all this drama over a ticket,
Yeah.
right? Well, the other day I got pulled over. I won't tell you for what. I will say that I was going a little too fast, right? But the officer was very nice. I was very nice. I signed my ticket. I sent it. And sent him on his way. He sent me on my way. I immediately took a photo of it and sent it to my attorney and said, "Fix it." And I went on
Mm,
back on my way. I didn't even give it a second thought. See, that's the difference between when you're learning and growing, right? And we call, like, when you're 16 years and you're a number one level person, a
With
number two,
level 1 level experiences.
right? And you have a level two problem. This problem looks insurmountable. But when you're an 8, 9, or 10 level person and you have a level two problem, you don't even think about it, do you? Right? This
mm,
is the strength that a mentor can give you. This is what a true mastermind leader, someone who's been there, done that. It's like, oh, you have this problem. Let me tell you how I handled that 10 years ago or
mm,
20 years ago, or and there's no sitting there trying to figure stuff out, because you have this one here is laying the roadmap out for you. It's like, look, John, let me show you how easy this is going to be for you to fix. And it's like,
mhm.
oh, I can breathe. Thank you. Right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be refreshing?
It'd be beautiful. Yeah. Very refreshing. Love that. Yes, that's definitely a problem I see with a lot of the masterminds, and there's also a lot of coaches that are out nowadays where they know about the business process, but maybe have never run a business themselves too. Would that apply? That same principle apply to those types of business coaches where, they really don't have that experience, but they want to talk about the principles or learn from Tony Robbins, or I don't know what they did, but um,
Doc, you want to talk about that?
Well, it does apply. There's a direct correlation. And so if you hire a coach that has never had employees and you come across an employee that you're having difficulty with, or how to manage a team, how to hire, how to fire, how to do different things, if they've never had employees, how
mhm.
are they going to coach you? I mean, a a book, I promise you, a book may have some foundational principles, but a book doesn't have experience.
No.
And you can't get experience from a book. You get experience from actually playing the game in real life.
Oh, wait a
So,
minute. You have a problem? Hang on. Let me look for it. It's
yeah,
hang on,
let
hang
me
on. Let me hang on. I took
Pause
notes.
a
Wait a minute.
moment.
Son of a gun. I can't find my notes. Let me get back to you. That doesn't work in the real world.
Yes.
It really
so
doesn't.
here's
And
here's
most
what
most
happens.
most coaches, unfortunately, are downsized corporate executives that have no
Mm,
concept of the small business world. It's a
mm,
you speak different languages. Everything about it is different, right?
yep.
I mean, the coaching business right now is going to be like an $8 billion business, and there's people scrambling to get into it that really have a hard time fixing lunch.
Mm,
And how are you going to have them help you fix your multi-million-dollar business when they've never signed a paycheck on the front?
mm,
Like what experience are they bringing to the conversation, right? I mean, we've had multi-million-dollar payrolls for decades, hundreds of employees. And let me tell you, just as a reminder, when you have $1 million payroll, it really means like 1.3 to 1.4 million dollars must be generated just to cover the payroll,
yes.
much less the rest of the expenses of the company. So we have to generate huge amounts of cash to support our infrastructure. And
Mm,
if people don't have the experience, they've never done it, how would they be able to coach you to do it?
mhm,
And keep also in mind regarding employees is that the people who got you to 500,000 are not the same people that'll get you to 1,000,000. And the ones that get you to 1,000,000 are not the same people that'll get you to 3,000,000, to
Exactly.
5,000,000, to 10,000,000 and above.
Yeah.
Now, there may
mm,
be the odd one or two that stay with you that grow as you grow. The majority of people, though, they're going to leave. The vision will change. There will be problems with management and personalities. And so these are all things to really, really keep in mind when you're hiring and when you're growing your business. A lot of people think, "Oh, well, I wanna grow my business, so I want more sales. If I get more leads and I get more sales, then I'll grow my business." Well,
mm,
whoa, 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 wait a minute. Can your team even handle that? Can your team handle a 50% increase in leads? Are there written systems? Do you have things in place that will make the customer experience smooth?
The other question is when we talk about hire good people, one question I'd like everybody that's listening to ask yourself, take a look at the person you just hired. Can you see yourself working for them instead of them working for you?
mm,
If you could not see yourself working for them, you hired the wrong person.
mm,
Even if it means, okay, I could see myself working for Laura, but she's going to have to grow a little bit. You know what I mean? As the employer, if I'm John, I'm going to hire you. I'm going to lay out a plan. I'm going to have you grow so that you can become a manager or a general manager in my company.
mm.
See, and if you're not hiring that type of person, unfortunately, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. It'll be a long-term failure or short-term failure, depending on how much you expect out of that employee, right? But if they're not general manager or owner material, man, I'd like to see you move on.
Hmm.
So, does
And
that make sense?
that makes, and I guess one question to have is, I feel like most people have experienced this where they started with a certain group of people, grew the company, and then they might have outgrown them. How do you guys have those conversations? As you're growing the company, it's someone that you maybe when you started, hey, I could see myself working for them, but as time has gone on, that might have changed. So, what do you do in cases like that? Because those are people that you started with, and you want to take care of, but maybe they're not the right people to take the business to the next level. How do you approach those situations?
Well, that's a great question. And I will say that over the hundreds of employees that I've had, I have never, ever, ever terminated the employment of any employee where it was a shock to them.
Mm.
They know long before you do it.
And the other employees commonly say, wow, it sure took him a long time to get rid of that guy or girl or whoever it is.
And that's how you demoralize your amazing A players, because
Mm.
they know you should get rid of someone, and yet you want to hang on to them.
You want to take care of them. And we're not, I don't want to come across as insensitive here.
I do. It's okay. No.
However, you need to hire slowly. Don't hire out of desperation. Hire slowly and fire quickly.
Yes. Just because someone passes the mirror test doesn't mean they're going to be an employee. Do you know what the mirror test is? It's when you put a mirror in front of them and they fog the mirror, right? If they're fogging the mirror, that means they have breath in their body. Okay, you're eligible for
Oh,
hire.
okay.
No, 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 no. Bad
The
idea.
heartbeat, you're saying. They're alive.
Yeah.
You're barely alive. Okay, yeah, I think I can hire you. I'll find a spot for you because you're a good person. Okay.
Helping our clients to fire people in such a way where you don't get in trouble with the workforce commission, where the employee leaves knowing exactly why they were fired. Um, and sometimes it's very, very difficult because sometimes that's family.
Yes.
Sometimes that's your best friend when you guys were growing up and you said, "Hey, let's start this company together." Only you own the company and they are an employee, but yet they think they have some right to the company. These are conversations that we've helped our clients with. It's like, okay, what do you do? Well, I know that I need to fire my best friend, but I don't know how. And
Or
or I
I
know,
really need to fire my wife, but I don't want to get divorced.
yeah,
That's a tough conversation. Let me tell you, that's a tough conversation. And especially with small business owners, right? What they fail to remember is when you have an employee, you have an implied contract.
Mm.
The implied contract is, John, I'm going to hire you and I want you to do this for me. And if you do this, I'm going to pay you this much money,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the implied contract. I
and
will
sometimes
pay,
it's a written contract.
yeah, sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
written, right? But I'm going to pay you this much money for you to do this work for me, right? What they fail to remember is what they're doing is they're reaching into their pocket and they're taking money away from their family, away from their wallet, and they're giving it to someone who stopped deserving it months ago.
Mm.
So when they stopped doing the work, why did you continue your end of the contract?
Mm.
And usually the answer is, I don't know. Great. Let's fix that today. If they're not going to do the work, why will you allow them to continue taking your money? It's your money away from your family, away from your vacation, away from your children's college, your daughter's wedding that you're going to have to pay for, your whatever the heck it is, whatever's going on in your world, you're taking that money away from that and giving it to someone who stopped working for you. They just show up every day, though. To me, it seems unfair to the employer.
And there are ways to communicate to employees that make it very clear of your expectations, of reminding them why they got hired and the consequences of them not stepping up to the plate. So there's systems for that that make it so much easier.
That's
That's one of the things that we really help people with is systems, standard operating procedures and systems. And when you rely, see, you have really, there's two ways to run a company. You can have a person dependent company, right? Oh, Laura, I'd really love to help you today, but John called in sick and I don't know when he'll come back to work. So let me get back to you when John comes back, and then we'll be able to help you with spending money with our company.
mm.
Or, Laura, we're happy to help you. We have our systems in place. We'll be able to take care of it. No problem, regardless of who's here.
When would you like to have us either come out or when would you like to come in?
When do you want to start? Right?
Wow.
And understand the difference. One is a people dependent process or person dependent process, and the other is a systems dependent process.
Mm.
Which one's better for the company? Which one's better for the customer? Right? Which one's better for the team? To me, it's all about the systems.
The systems.
Oh, and then I hear it already. See, I hear people go, oh, but my business is different.
Hmm.
No, it isn't. Stop saying that.
You don't understand, Jerry.
My customers are different. You would never understand my employees. No, I'd never understand why you hired them. That's what I wouldn't understand. Oh, it was the mirror test again. Son of a
Oh
gun.
God.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was the mirror.
Awesome.
I guess there's two threads that I'm pulling out from this. So the first thing you mentioned earlier was, counting the true cost. So having a bad hire, the true cost is they're taking money out of, your fund for personal things, vacations, or for hiring the right employee, and it's taking up. Also, it's costing the team their time because they're working with them too. And then second, it's this having a systems dependent company versus a person dependent company.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
And when you hire the
Person
right,
dependent person dependent company, what you're gonna find is you're gonna have a lot of fires to put out.
and
So if
Mm,
you're
that
putting
person,
it
that,
if
yeah, and that person's the fireman. They're always putting out the fires.
mm,
so when you have a system dependent company, things go so much more smoothly. Whereas if it's a person people depend on that person and only that person can do it, or only those 2 people can do it, or only the boss can do it, well, then there's fires to put out. And if you're feeling like you're a fireman, then there's some firing and hiring and some systems that probably need to be looked at.
Yeah, if you're
mm,
running around putting out fires all day long, your company's running you. Your business is
mm.
running. Your employees are running you. Right? You should spend you should spend very little time. I, I spend less than 20% of my time in operations. It's probably more like
Mm.
10% is operations because I have good people and we have systems in place. We have documented procedures and policies.
And we
when people
check
say,
in.
"How do I do this?" What does the manual say? Have you looked at your
Mm,
SOPs? Have you looked at the SOPs? Oh no? Why don't you go look at those? And if you can't find the answer, then come back to me.
mm.
Because after owning a company this company is going on 43 years. 43 years. We have a lot of documentation. Like, how many times have I heard this question?
Mhm.
Write it down. We're good. Put it in a book. We're good. See? Very simple. Didn't take much. Didn't take long. But now no one
And
has
it's
to ask me that question again.
and it's on every computer. It's not like they have to go searching for a book.
Mm.
Yeah, it's all networked together. And when I change one, it changes all of them.
Mm. So it
Boy.
sounds like if someone doesn't have this in place, part of it could be, okay, let's sit down for a day, write everything out. And then if someone asks me a question that's not included, it's iterative. Just as it comes, let's update the handbook. Let's update the handbook until you've covered basically every question that you could possibly ask for a specific role.
Well, yes, and we have it broken down by role. We have it broken down by department. We have it broken down by each individual position, right? So we in our companies we always we tell everyone that our manual, our standard operating procedures, is a living document. It's constantly being updated and revised. For example, we just got a new credit card processing machine,
Mhm.
right? Well, the documents that we had used to be, push F2 for this and F4 for that. Well, the new machine, all that's gone. So guess what happened? We had to create a new system. We had to
Mm.
document the process for the new system. So here's something. This is how important it is. Okay. Every position in McDonald's, they start at minimum wage.
Mhm.
Every position, if you start in a McDonald's, according to my friends who own the franchises, right, they tell me that every new person starts mopping floors and cleaning toilets.
Mm.
And then every person, if once they master that, then they can start moving up the food chain, literally. Processing, and I don't know which position is next. I don't own a McDonald's, okay? But at some point, they take that person who started at minimum wage and scrubbing toilets, and they can work their way up to be a general manager.
Mm.
You cannot come in off the street and work as a general manager for a McDonald's franchise. It's impossible. Doesn't happen. You must start off scrubbing toilets. Now, why is that important? Because think about the people that come in and they're in high school and they start working at McDonald's as a part time gig and they are grown into a general manager and eventually even an ownership position. That's the importance of standard operating procedures and documentation. McDonald's doesn't hire $150,000 a year managers. They hire minimum wage people and bring them up the ladder. Makes all the difference in the world,
Mhm.
And that's
right?
in relation to the hiring. And now let's look at it from the customer perspective. You can go into any McDonald's in any part of the world and you can expect a specific outcome. There's consistency in every single location. It's the lack of consistency that really is the biggest problem that business owners have that they don't even realize that they have. There are 2 restaurants in the same parking lot, right about a half a mile from where we have our offices. And one restaurant, you can barely get a table. If you're not there by 6 o'clock, you're gonna be standing in line waiting.
Mm.
The other restaurant, it doesn't matter what time of day or evening you come in, there's going to be a table. In fact, the place is mostly empty. Why is that? It's because of lack of consistency with the service, the product, the physical environment.
The
The first
staff,
restaurant,
the
yeah,
staff.
the staff. So, but the thing is that even with the really busy restaurant, they still have staff turnover. They do. However, the new staff that comes in, they are trained and they follow the systems. If they don't follow the systems, they go back to training or they're no longer there. Because it's consistency. So that it's not necessarily a foundational principle, if you will. However, it's something that'll either make or break your company.
We have our employees, when they come on board, they need to understand how we do things at our company. And they say, okay, how you do what? What do I need to learn? How we do everything. How we answer the phones, how we take care of the customer, how we look at vehicles, how we mop the floor, how we make coffee, how we do everything. Oh, but that's not my job. It's everybody's job here. We all do that. I mean, when I'm in the office and the phones are ringing and no one's there to answer them, I answer the phone. Now,
Oh
I'll
no,
tell you, it's a
that's
bad
not good.
idea.
That's
Everybody,
not good. Someone's head's gonna roll.
feathers will fly if I have to answer the phone, right? And everybody knows it. They scramble for the phones, right? And I have a fail safe. If the phones ring a certain number of times and it goes to voicemail, I get a text message and an email with a voicemail attached to it. So I know whether or not my phones are being answered. We also listen. Every phone call in and out is recorded, and we listen to phone calls. And I call the employee in and say, "Hey, John, come into my office for a minute. I want to look over some calls with you." And it's always an educational experience, right? Why did you do this? Why would you tell this person that? Well, I didn't know you'd be
Is that
listening.
part of the script?
I didn't know you'd be listening. I'm always listening. Because here's the deal. Remember I said check in often? That's part of checking in often.
That's part of leadership.
It's part of you're holding people responsible. Look, there's two questions. Why do you hire people? There's two reasons. You hire them to do the things you can't do or the things you no longer want to do. Right? I don't want to work on vehicles anymore. I haven't turned a wrench on a car in decades. I don't want to do that. It's not the highest and best use of my time. So I hire people that are amazing at turning wrenches on cars. And I let them do their job. And every now and again, I go out in the shop, I pop a hood and go, "Hey, show me what you did here. I want to see it. Explain the repair to me. Walk me through it." And we do that on everything.
This makes sense. And that was gonna be one clarifying question I had, but you answered it because earlier I was thinking, okay, you want to hire the best people, but then we're talking about entry level people who are combined with a process. But now you've clarified there's two types of people that you're hiring. Ones that have already gone where you want to go, and then secondarily people who can execute on the process that was developed.
Exactly. And the people that have already gone where you want to go, we want to train them how we do it in our company, how we want it done in our company, what makes us unique. See, if you don't have a reason, like you need to be able to articulate what sets your company apart from all of your competition.
That's one of the biggest things in marketing. You must differentiate yourself.
What is it about your company that indicates to your customer that you are the best and most logical choice of everything else, including the choice of doing nothing. Because a confused mind never buys. Never. I don't care what it is. That's why you see people when they go to a restaurant and you see the 47-page menu and they're there for 2 hours before they even can order. Because it's like, oh my God, there's so much to choose from. I don't even know what to do. Okay, go to a place that's got 4 items on the menu. You'll be in and out of there like right now making a decision, won't you? Because it's easy. You go, okay, do I want a hamburger? Do I want a hot dog? Do I want pizza? Do I want chicken? Okay, those are my 4 choices. Bing, you're done. Now you want 16 different flavors of chicken. You got, I mean, it's like, oh my God. I don't know, honey, what do you want? So now you have double the confusion, right?
Yes.
Too funny.
Yeah. My God, and he's sober too.
Yeah, wait till see him when he got a drink in his hand.
Yeah, you really can't shut him up.
Now, sometimes people ask us, they say, well, why do you have multiple businesses? Why don't you just grow the one business that you have
Yeah.
that make it really, really big? And that's a really good question. And a lot of it depends on how well your first business is going. If your main business is running so well that you can leave for a month, and when you get back, it's not only still there, but it's even better than when you left, then maybe you're in a position to start another venture. Here's the thing about entrepreneurs. We have bright, shiny object syndrome.
Yes, we do.
Squirrel. Squirrel.
Squirrel.
Look at-
Oh, I
Oh
could.
my gosh,
That
we're
looks
so
like
good.
fun. That
Oh,
looks like
that could
fun. Oh,
be a
maybe I
lot
should
of
do
fun.
that. Oh, maybe I
Let's go
should write a
try
book.
that.
Maybe I should do a speaking tour. Maybe I should. Well, if your business, your HVAC, your pest control, your legal firm, whatever it may be, your chiropractic office, automotive industry, if it can run for a month or more without you, still be there when you get back, and your employees still be there when you get back, and be even better than before you left, then maybe it's time that you can start something else. If you can't do that, then don't. Just don't do it. Maximize what you have and get your stuff in place so that you can make that happen, because that's where freedom comes from.
You have to, if 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 you're running your business, there's really 3 types of businesses, probably 4, but I'm going to stick to 3 right now. One is you run your business like it's your job. You have to be there, right? It's like, oh
You
my
created a
God.
job for yourself.
Yeah, you didn't really create a business. What you've done is you've created a job for yourself that you have to be there 5, 6, or 7 days a week, and you're working probably from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and probably taking work home with you. Okay, all you've done is create a job for yourself. Sorry, that's really the bottom line. And your boss is a lunatic, so you might want to reevaluate. The second thing is when you start turning into an owner. And the owner, like for example, look at my hands. I do not work on automobiles. I am an owner. I don't have the calluses anymore. I don't have the grease under the fingernails. I am an owner. I don't work on cars. I work an average of 2.5 days a week. I am an owner. I have people that do the things for me that I no longer want to do or no longer can do. I did mention I'm old, right? The third one, and that's my favorite, is when you have a company as an investor. I don't even have keys to the car wash. I didn't know passwords for the computer. If I was standing in the lobby and someone said, you're the owner, can you ring up my car wash? Yeah, no, let me find somebody. I don't even know. I don't have passwords for the computers, man. Are you kidding? I look at reports, I collect money. I'm an investor. See, if you're running your business as it's your job, you have no business starting a second business. As the analogy I tell people is, if you have two companies, even in the Bible it says a man can only have one master, right? If you have two companies and you have a job in both of them, you're not operating at least one of them as an investor. If there's a fire and both companies happen to catch on fire, which one are you going to first? If you have an emergency in both companies at the same time, how are you going to take care of that? If you cannot, then you've gone about it the wrong way. Okay? My company catches on fire. The first thing they do is they call 911. The second thing they do, they call the insurance company. The third or fourth thing is they send me a text and say, hey, look for a check. I'm not the guy to call in that situation. I don't want to be the guy to call. I'm not the firefighter anymore. I have systems in place. This is how we get to spend 2.5 days at work. This is how we get to go 130 days a year traveling. This is how we get to go watch the grass grow on the ranch or whatever it is that my wife wants to do. Right? Crazy concept, but seems to work for us.
And you said you have 5 businesses right now. Would you consider yourself an investor in all 5 of them currently, or do you think, would you say like, hey, yeah, I'm an owner, or I still feel like I run like this as a job, or what would your distribution be?
I am an owner in the auto repair business. My coaching business is a job because only my wife and I are the coaches. We do not hire other coaches. We don't want to hire other coaches because I have a mastermind group filled with coaches, and I kind of mentor them, and they're all trying to hire coaches, and the common denominator is they all say, man, it's really hard to find people that know how to coach. There's no one out there that has the qualifications. Well, no kidding. See, this is the big problem. The big problem is to find, and I don't want this to sound egotistical, but to find people that have successfully done it and are successfully continuing to do it, and find those that are willing to teach you how to do what they've done. We're the purple unicorn. It's a purple unicorn. There's nobody out there doing that. There's a lot of people that said they are. I mean, I've been to some guru's home. While their Rolls Royce and Bentley were being repossessed during their infomercial filming.
Oh my God.
Right? Laura and I have coached some of the gurus and found out that their family is surviving right now because of food banks, and they're highly rated in the internet world. I mean, it's stunning to me, right? The internet covers up a lot of sins, but to find the real people out there that are actually really doing it and have accumulated wealth, boy, that's tough. That's really hard to do because there's not many of us out there. I mean, not really. When you talk to them, when you look at it, you go, oh boy, wish I'd done this before I gave you my 40 grand.
Right, and it takes a special responsibility or a special calling to want to come back and help others as well, right? Because if they've made the money, some people, I think the logical thing, like, hey, I'm just gonna enjoy my life. I don't want to give back. So it takes a very special group of people like you both to
I
do that.
appreciate that, and I'm going to check you on one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a personal thing against the term giving back. It implies that I
Mm,
took something. I
mm,
can assure you I've earned everything I have.
yeah.
I give out of the goodness of my heart. I give because I'm able to. I don't give
Mm,
back. That implies I stole something or took something without earning it, doesn't it?
mm. That's true.
Yeah, I'm not giving back.
Mm,
I'm helping because I care. I want to help people.
love that.
You can cut that out if you want, but the reality of it is
Oh
I
no, I think that's
really
great.
believe that, okay?
No, I love that. It's words matter. Yeah, words, the
Words
implications
matter,
matter.
brother. I'm
Words
happy
definitely
to
matter.
give. And what I've learned, John, what I've learned is that the wealthier I become, the more money, the more able I'm able to help people, and the more people I'm able to help, the wealthier I become.
Hmm.
It's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
and I'd love to talk more about your mastermind. Since we're getting close to the hour, I'd love to hear
Oh
more about
man.
like what does that look like? What are the types of businesses that you work with? What are some of the transformations that you've seen? Yeah, just would love to hear more about it.
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, working with us is generally a 3-year program. And the reason why is, and so if somebody's looking for a get rich quick, that's not us.
No.
If you want to build a really solid business where you don't have to be there, that's us. The first year is getting all the systems in place, getting the right people in place, getting your head in the
Figuring
right
out where
place.
you're at.
Yeah. Where you're at, what do you want? And then the second year is really the part of the growing pains of, okay, well that maybe that was a bad hire, or oh, this this product needs to go, or this new product needs to come in. It's really being strategic. So the second year is strategy. Third year, that's where explosive growth happens. That's really where explosive growth happens. And that's when it's also what people tell us is they're like, it's a little weird because they've gotten so used to working so hard in their business, and then they work so hard on their business, and now they're growing like faster than they ever had before, but they're not working as hard. Like they're like taking Fridays off, going golfing, going hunting, going, you know, whatever to a movie. And they feel rested, and yet their business is really growing. It's like this really weird, uncomfortable phase of, I'm finally getting what I wanted, but wow, this is like I feel guilty that I'm not at work.
Yeah.
And I'm not busting my butt. I'm not spending 12, 14 hours a day at the office or on the job doing what I used to do. And the growth is happening so much faster because I'm not doing it. How does that even work? Well, that's where the magic comes in.
Mm,
That's where the magic comes in. You've heard people, will sell you what you want and then will give you what you need. Most
mm,
people don't know what they want, and they certainly have no idea what they need. Everybody, 100% of the people that have come into our group have said the same thing. I need more sales.
I
How do
need
I
more
get more
leads.
sales?
How do I automate my leads to get more leads and get more sales?
It's not about the sales.
And
It's
then we
not
look
about
at
the sales.
the employees and the systems and the mindset, and it's like, whoa, heck, okay, we need to prune the trees, cut the grass, get this business ready for customers, and then let's turn on the faucet.
Yeah.
Then it'll
mm.
then you can grow your customers just like you would the landscaping of around a building or around a house. But we need to get it in shape first.
You have to build your foundation properly. if you're not building your foundation properly, just like house, right? If you're going to build a house, you have to start with the foundation. You don't start with the
Yes.
roof or the ceiling or the walls. No, you have to have the solid foundation. It's the same thing with your business. You've got to have
Mm,
all of the basics down. And once you have the basics down and everything's running at as close to 100% as you can, because nothing's at 100%. But if you get going as close to 100 as you can, and you're able to take time away,
mm,
now let's open the faucets. Now let's grow this baby. Because what I've learned is if you have bad habits and you open the faucets, you're going to have a shit ton of unhappy people, employees,
Mhm.
customers, everybody, and it can rip the business apart. Fix the habits, get the nuances down, get it. We call it muscle memory, right? You do something
mhm,
often enough the proper way, and pretty soon it happens without you even thinking about it. We call it
mm,
unconscious competence. Once you have mastered unconscious competence, then is when you open up the faucets and you crank them open until you become conscious competence. You kind of go backwards a little bit because the flow is too much, and then you back down your marketing until you have unconscious competence again.
mm.
And John, I don't want you to think that everything we've done in our businesses has been perfect and amazing and wonderful. We've made bad hires. We've been there. We've done that. Jerry had pneumonia, what, 5.5 years ago, almost died. He was
Oh my
probably
God.
within an hour of dying. And at the time, we had a manager that we didn't know was stealing from us. And Jerry got out of the hospital and he's like, "You know what? I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Just shut it down. I have enough money coming in from commercial real estate. I don't need this." And I had sold my practice and I said, "Well, what's the worst that can happen? Let me run it. Let me run it. Let me see what
And
I
let
can do."
you run it. Well,
I ran my chiropractic practice for 20 years. People are people. Do I know anything about cars? No, I know a lot more about cars now, at least some of the terminology, but it's the systems will translate no matter which business you're in. And at the time, we had a people dependent business and we had a manager that was stealing from us. And so
and when the manager steals, that gives everyone else the right to steal as well.
Mhm,
Yes.
including your employees, stealing them away from
Mm,
you.
Hmm.
So there were some people that I fired. There were new people that I hired, and I got everyone on board with following the systems. And when that happened, then we grew 25% year on year, 30% year over year. I've been managing the auto repair shop for this is what 4 years now. And we're sending them to training. They're really learning the systems. We're just it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Your employees are what will give you freedom. We think it's money. We think it's money that's gonna give us freedom. It's the employees that give us freedom.
it's amazing. So if you want to build the life that you've built, it's finding those right people, retaining them, ensuring they're well taken care of, and that's how you're running this portfolio of five businesses, which is mind-boggling. So,
There's
Yeah,
2 sayings
a
that
lot of
there
people get swamped with one.
right? Exactly.
there's 2 sayings that Jerry and I really live by. One is, "I'm willing to do today what other people won't, so I can do tomorrow or later what other people can't." So I'll repeat that. "I'm willing to do today what other people won't, so that I can do tomorrow what other people can't." And the other is, "Grow people as the way of growing profits." Grow
Mm,
people as the way of growing profits. So this is your employees and your customers.
I love that. That's amazing. Um, I'm I'm gonna be writing those down and plastering it on my wall right here. It's from
So that, yeah,
Excellent.
because that's where your leadership comes in. That's where your company culture comes in, where the interaction of the team comes in, and that's all stuff that we help our clients with, our business owners.
Yep.
Love that. So yeah, I think we're at the hour. So any last takeaways you want to give the audience before we hop off for the day?
Well, last takeaways. Well, our way to contact us, is that okay to share?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Can I duck down?
Yeah,
There you go.
bbmmusa.com. Business Builders Mentor and Mastermind. bbmmusa.com. That's Business Builders Mentor Mastermind USA.com.
Or 972-578-1700. Leave a voicemail and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can.
Yeah, Jerry's voicemail always says that he's out until Monday. So
This,
don't worry.
by the way, no, this is a trick. This is the best thing I've ever done. I've had this for 20 years. My voicemail, if you call it right now, it says, "Hi, this is Jerry. Thanks for calling. I'm out of the office until Monday. Please leave your name, telephone number, and of course, a short message. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can." Now, I want you to know why that's important. Salespeople will never leave a message.
Mm.
So you're not wasting your time.
And my phone, by the way, never even rings in my office. There's no sound. It's permanently programmed never to ring.
Mm.
It's
So
in my
he's never
office. It's at my
he's
desk.
never he's not interrupted by the phone ringing.
I return
He
people's phone calls on my schedule, not on
Mm.
yours. Because if I'm doing things on your schedule, I am interrupted and it breaks my flow. It interrupts my thoughts. And I don't ever want to deal with that. So leave a message. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And I always do. I return every phone call, even to salespeople,
Mm.
the ones that are brave enough to leave a message.
Oh, well, you let your secret out of the bag there, Jerry. Now you're going to get a bunch of sales calls.
Right, buddy, a ton of robocalls.
Robocalls don't do it, man. It's okay. I'm good. I can delete. I hear it's a robot. I just click delete. I'm done. Right? But it's a good method for you to be able to focus and stay on task, and that's turn your phone to silent and only return phone calls when it's on your schedule. John, have you ever noticed when you're in flow, when you're in state and everything's just going perfectly and somebody comes in, they bang on your, hey, you got a minute?
Yeah, it's like,
You never get back into flow, do you?
no.
So this is the whole point. If your phone's ringing or you get a text message or a tweet or whatever the hell it is, turn it off when you want to be productive, and
Mhm.
you can get so much more done. That's your tidbit today.
Love that. Oh man, I don't know if you've been watching, but I learn as much as the audience does, and so
I was going to loan you a pen. I think you ran out of ink once.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
got
know.
like three or four pages of notes.
Yeah, imagine spending a day with us. Woo! It's
Oh
fun.
my gosh. Well, Jerry and Dr. Laura, I want to say thank you so much for your time, for being so generous, not to give back, but to give. And I appreciate both of you. I know that everyone who listened in, there's a lot of contractors that listen in, and they're a one-man shop, or they have just someone in the office, and they are struggling with detaching themselves from the business. And so I know they're going to be excited to hear about a few of the simple questions and tests that you do to like figure out like where should I go next. And for everyone who's listening, this is just a sneak peek. They have the mastermind to be a part of, and really, I think that's where the transformation will actually happen. There's a lot of gems from this, but to your point, like I can only imagine like spending an actual day, a full day, or 3 years with both of you.
Yeah. We've helped people go from 500,000 to 5 million, 700,000 to 7 million. Just, it's so rewarding. I mean, that's talk about fulfilling. Yeah,
And
for sure.
we don't do rev share either. So if you're
Mm.
doing if you do all of a sudden start doing $7 or $8 million, I'm not getting a big piece of that pie.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of coaches are doing that these days. They're
Yeah,
taking a percentage of the growth.
Yes.
yeah,
Nah, you did that. You followed the advice. You earned it. You earned it.
yep, yep.
Amazing. Well, thank you both. I appreciate it. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure to catch the next episode, but also make sure to reach out to both of these incredible individuals. You got the website, you got the phone number, and yeah, we will catch you on the next episode.
All
All
right.
right,
Thanks
take
for
care,
having
everyone.
us. See you next time. Bye, everybody.
Keep growing.